Movie facts that will blow your mind. Such movie details are sure to please both movie lovers and classic movie fans on a trivia night. You will certainly find some funny surprises in this video, from misplaced props to unusual pay dispensaries and on-set injuries. Number 1. Halloween. Of course, we're all familiar with Halloween, the thriller horror movie that first came out in 1978. It talks about 6-year-old Michael Myers, who brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister Judith and was sentenced and locked away for 15 years. But while being transferred for a court date, the 21-year-old steals a car and escapes Smith's Grove to return to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims. However, the shocking fact about this movie is the mask that he uses is actually William Shatner's face. The production crew bought the cheapest mask they could find at a Halloween store, which happened to be William Shatner. They spray painted it white. Number 2. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The movie that was made in 1971 talks about Charlie Bucket, an impressionist but honest paperboy, yearns to get the chance to set foot in cryptic chocolatier Willy Wonka's mysterious confectionery factory. Then, unexpectedly, the world's greatest candy maker announces a worldwide contest. Whoever comes up with 1 out of 5 rare golden passes hidden in his famous and delectable Wonka bars will win a free tour of the factory and a lifetime supply of chocolate. Then miraculously, the boy finds the 5th. In the movie, there was a scene where Gene Wilder bites a candy flower cup. Surprisingly, the cup is actually made of wax. That made viewers very much surprised of how did he manage to take a bite of wax. Number 3. The Princess Diaries. A socially awkward but very bright 15-year-old girl, Mia Thermopolis, who is played by Anne Hathaway, who is being raised by a single mom, discovers that she is the princess of a small European country because of the recent death of her long-absent father, who, unknown to her, was the crown prince of Genovia. She must make a choice between continuing the life of a San Francisco teen or stepping up to the throne. While she makes up her mind, she pressed into taking princess lessons from her grandmother. The funny thing is a specific accident that ended up a part of the movie. That scene was none other than the fan favorite bleacher scene where Mia and her best friend Lily were talking and Mia accidentally falls. When Anne turned really fast on the bleachers, she ended up slipping on a puddle, which led to her falling and later bursting out laughing. That was just a clumsy moment, but director Gary Marshall liked it and kept it in the film. Number 4. Titanic. The all-time famous Titanic also has its own mind-blowing facts. The movie that was about the true Titanic ship that had an ill fate back in 1912 where it sank in the middle of the Atlantic, bringing 1,500 passengers down with it. James Cameron, the director of the movie that was made in 1997, added a little twist to the story and of course a romantic one. Young first-class passenger Rose, who boards the ship with her mother and fiancé, meets Jack, who won his third-class ticket while playing cards, who saves her from throwing herself off the ship after she has had enough of her life. However, Jack changes her whole situation after showing her what real love actually is and manages to have the time of their lives before the ship sinks and takes Jack with it. The incredible fact about this movie is the famous scene where Jack sketches Rose wearing only her diamond necklace. Where's the cool fact about it? Well, that slightly scandalous charcoal drawing of a topless Kate Winslet in Titanic was drawn by none other than the director himself, James Cameron. If you want something done right, sometimes you just need to do it yourself. Number 5. Toy Story 2. Basically, Toy Story 2 picks up sometime after Toy Story left off. Andy is having a yard sale. A broken toy penguin named Wheezy is thrown in a selling box. In rescue attempt, Woody gets Wheezy back. Unfortunately, Woody is left behind in a box and is stolen by a greedy toy collector. In an all-out rescue mission, Buzz and the gang try to get Woody back. Adding to the conflict is the toy collector and soon selling Woody to Japan. It is a cool movie, right? Well then, let me tell you that this specific movie almost got deleted. How? A command entered in the master machine where the animation for Toy Story 2 was stored and deleted 90% of the work the Pixar team had done on it. As stated by Mental Floss, a plan was quickly hatched to restore the data from a regular backup, which meant that only half a day of work would have been lost. But the backup system had failed. Pixar incredibly did not have a copy of Toy Story 2 files on its servers. Luckily, the technical director of the film had a copy on which she had been working from home, and most of it was recovered. Number 6. Ratatouille. Remy, a resident of Paris, appreciates good food and has quite a sophisticated palate. He would love to become a chef so he can create and enjoy culinary masterpieces to his heart's delight. The only problem is Remy is a rat. When he winds up in the sewer beneath one of Paris's finest restaurants, the rodent gourmet finds himself ideally placed to realize his dream. Now let's jump to the cool fact of his movie. After it was released in theaters in 2007, it boosted people's demand on pet rats in Britain. The United States reported a surge in demand for pet rats during the summer also, and pet groups in Germany and Sweden have also said rat sales have surged thanks to the film. Number 7. Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back. After the rebels are brutally overpowered by the Empire on the ice planet Hoth, Luke Skywalker begins Jedi training with Yoda while his friends are pursued by Darth Vader and a bounty hunter named Boba Fett all over the galaxy. Being a production designer on any movie gives you a unique window of opportunity afforded to very few. The guys working on the field sequence of asteroids wanted to add a potato and a shoe. It is incredibly hard to see properly, but when you try to stop a flurry of asteroids, you catch a glimpse of both of these objects soaring past the Millennium Falcon. George Lucas himself, until years after the movie was released in theaters, did not even know about these funny inclusions, and people came out and told him. Number 8. Rocky IV. Rocky Balboa proudly holds the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship, but a new challenger has stepped forward. Drago, a 6'4", 261-pound fighter who has the backing of the Soviet Union. The fact that's gonna blow your mind in this movie is that Sylvester Stallone wanted to make sure the boxing scenes looked real, so he told Dolph Lundgren to actually hit him. He wanted a few punches to really connect and look as real as possible. The result was the star being hospitalized in the intensive care unit for 9 days. Number 9. The Godfather. In New York City, 1945, Michael Corleone, a decorated World War II veteran and son of Vito Corleone, the don of the Corleone crime family, is determined to live a life with his greatest love, Kay Adams, and stay out of the family business. But with the health and status of his father slowly deteriorating, Michael begins to realize that some burdens cannot be avoided, and the inevitability of his fate as the patriarch of the Corleone crime family. The cute fact is that the cat in the movie was actually Stray. Director Francis Ford Coppola found the cat in the studio and handed it to Marlon Brando before the shot. The cat loved the actor so much that it stayed in his lap and purred so loudly that the crew was afraid the noise would drown out the dialogue. And finally, number 10. Up. Determined to save his home and keep the promise he made to his wife, widower Carl Fredricksen embarks on a journey to the mysterious Paradise Falls in an airship of his own invention. Along the way, he meets his childhood hero, forms a bond with a boy who was an absent father, and realizes the preciousness of the life he lived as well as the one he now lives. And for the fact in this movie, the animators who created the pack of balloons in Up actually created every single one. The film's effects artist John Reich told Tech Radar that the entire canopy filled with balloons. We didn't just simulate the outer shell, and they even got a specific count of exactly the number of balloons, 10,297.